Hello and welcome to the fifth stop of the Porsche Cup Challenge here tonight. Tonight we're at the Hockenheim Ring, and ahead of us awaits the 15-minute sprint race and the 30-minute feature with the top 8 people reversed. Tonight, I'm joined in the booth by Mr. Zachary Purcell. So how are you, Zach?
I'm doing great. This is going to be one of the easiest tracks so far. They've had some pretty difficult challenges, tracks such as Manicure or Canadian Tire. So this is definitely the biggest track we've been to so far this season, and should be the least punishing. But that just means that we'll get to see more racing.
We definitely will see some decent racing. We saw last night in a different race series with GT3 cars. It went very nicely, so I think we'll see even more action with the shorter race.
Yeah, this track really puts on a good show. There's an unlimited amount of passing opportunities here. It's not one of those tracks where just once a lap you maybe get a chance, and if you're really good out of one corner, there's places all over this track with how wide it is and with the way that the corners are just modeled. That you can get around in any one of these three sectors, sometimes multiple opportunities.
Yeah, there are many opportunities. Turn 1, not so much, but turn 2, there's a decent spot. Coming up into the final sector, if you're really, really careful, you can make something happen. The hairpin's a great place. I mean, we're going to be seeing cars all over the place make some passes, so I'm super excited to watch this.
Yeah, I think the turn I'm going to keep an eye on the most is turn 8, which is Mercedes. That one is not only a good passing zone after you get through that kink of turn 7 post hairpin, but it's also one that's really easy to mess up and go deep. Now, when you go deep, you don't go off into the sand or anything, but you will lose a good number of positions. And so when it's both a difficult corner and a passing opportunity, I think it has some potential for fireworks.
It definitely does. Now, we have about 3 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. People still to settle lap include Michael McLeod, Philippe Straffarelli, Young Choi, and there's a lot of people that have only done 3 laps, but will not have the time to do all 4 that they are allotted in the 15-minute qualifying session. So interesting, but I mean, Samuel Sproul is one of those people, and he's still doing pretty well for himself up at 5th.
Yeah, Samuel Sproul was the driver with the fastest time in practice. Still here, sitting in the top 5 for qualifying currently. So, and I mean, you can look at those gaps there. He's not far off. Those throughout the entire field, literally throughout like the entire field, like 25 spots back, the gaps between positions are sometimes less than half a tenth.
Yeah, and as Philippe Straffarelli makes that even more apparent, we've got less than and Michael McLeod adding to the list. That's a lot of gaps of less than 1,000th between each other. So I think we're gonna have a very competitive, very fun race here tonight.
Yes, if this is exactly how it finishes, Philippe Straffarelli will actually be moving his way into the pro category because this is his third attended race. Adam Morrow was a driver earlier in this qualifying session that was up for it, but he has just barely been knocked out of that top 35%. But it's looking like Philippe Straffarelli is going to be able to be a pro for this race today.
Yeah, that'll be very good for him. Although it does knock him up to some higher competition. So if he was looking to win, he's gonna have to put in a lot more pace than he would have before.
Yeah, other than him as a I guess a current AM outlier, it's really close for that AM class behind. Again, if this is how Straffarelli finishes, then Francois Schink will be the top guy for the AM class, and he's only got 300s behind him to Adam Morrow and 200s behind him to Troy Fenelon. So I anticipate a lot of good battling here. There's a lot of drafting opportunities, especially down like Parabolica. And it'll be a good one. I've never seen a bad race here.
Neither have I. It's a fun one. I drove this in an endurance race, Hockenheim in the Porsche Cup, and let me tell you, it was fun. Up until my teammate drove it into a wall, but still no complaints, and I'm excited to watch this race happen, as we're actually going to see our gridding process begin. So let's take a look at our grid. Only seems right. Benji Peterson, who qualified into pro.
Benji.
Ben G. Peterson, who qualified into pro last race, takes pole tonight. I can't stop pressing this button. Aiden Young follows him, followed by Marco Valverde, Michael McLeod, Bannock Opp, Philippe Straffarelli, who will now be a pro, Samuel K. Sproul, Patrick Kingston, Devin Horvath, Jack Buser, Mark Lampert, and Francois Schink.
Then following those guys, we have Adam Morrow, Troy Fenelon, Ryan Winfelt, Michael Carrillo, Manrique Valverde, Aaron Hall, Dan Morera, Young Choi, Ali Hunt, Carl Ribbing, Ariel Julian, and Shannon Mothral.
All right, and last we've got Mark Santana, Gary Watson, Benjamin Roche, Stephen Eckroad, Nicholas Stamos, and Stephen Chalafo. So a wonderful grid here of 30 cars even, and it's gonna be a good one. So let us.
You've got some of those guys back there starting at an angle.
Oh, that might not be as fun as you might want to imagine. All right, let's get Philippe Straffarelli promoted to that pro category here. There he goes. He's now green. Welcome to Pro, Philippe.
It's a tough class.
So, our gridding process here is going to end, and those lights goes 1, maybe, 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and they are all out and away
What a
from the
start
grid
by
they
Peterson.
go. And look at Michael McLeod. He pulls out really early, too. There is some controversy in the background, but Peterson leads them away nicely. Well done to him to keep it well. And Michael McLeod up into 3rd already. Up 1 position.
With another great start also.
Yeah. Although Michael McLeod going to lose some spots being on the outside of that turn 2 there. And now he's up at P2 already. Wow. Really well
Valverde
done.
going deep back there. Oh, cars mounting each other back there in the background.
Yeah, so further
Watson,
back.
Roche, Santana, Schink, Morrow, Ribbing. Oh, man.
Yeah, and look how wide we are going into this hairpin. Oh, that's not going to end well, though. Michael McLeod, who had a great start, is knocked around. Marco Valverde just barely escaping there. Wow. Lots of drama on the opening lap. That is how many drivers now? 6 drivers into the pits. That's a tow for them. That's going to be their race pretty much done for the most part in the first few corners. Wow.
Yeah, we've even got Patrick Kingston, who's the current points leader for Pro. Must have been involved in one of those accidents, and he's actually already retired the car.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see. That's Troy Fenelon being overtaken by Ariel Julian, or is it the other way around? I don't know. They have the same paint. It looks like Troy Fenelon is overtaken there. And further back, Gary Watson and Nicholas Stamos have a nice little battle there. Adam Morrow, actually. And can he make it? No. Doesn't get the run that he wanted. All right. Going into
Despite
turn
some
1.
of that early hectic, nature, a lot of the guys are close to each other. You can see there Ryan Finfeld under attack.
Yeah, there are a lot of people right on the bumper of each other. I mean, we're only 2 minutes into this race, and it's already action-packed as Ryan Winfelt does get around, does get past there by Jack Buser.
Winfeld's made up a lot of positions so far this race, and Shannon Mothral is now leading the AM class. He's a driver who has also made up a ton of positions, just avoiding some of this chaos at the start.
Yeah, look at those climbers. We got Stefan Chalafaux up 15. Shannon is up 14. We've got 9 from Ariel Julian, 10 from Benjamin Roche. Big climbers here tonight.
Yeah, but Benji Peterson yeah, still able to stay strong there. And here we are in Mercedes right there. That's what I was talking about. What a defense there in front by Young Choi. That was pretty brave. He couldn't be sure that he wasn't about to get nailed there, but great move to keep his spot.
Yeah, and here's some battling. Side-by-side effort there by Shannon Mothral and Manrique Valverde. Unfortunately for Shannon, can't make the move stick this time around, but he's going to get back at it and give it another try. Bannock Opp, who we haven't really mentioned here tonight, but he's fast. We know it. We saw him at Interlagos doing great things. He sets the fastest lap on lap 2.
Yeah, that was 4/10 faster than Ben Peterson in front. So he's already pretty much on the back of him now coming through Parabolica. And all of these guys at the front seem to have a lot of pace. We haven't seen a group kind of break off like we have in some of these recent races. Everyone's still in it.
Yeah, they're all still in it, and they're all still fighting very, very hard. Nicholas Stamos here and Gary Watson going at it. Oh, no. Nicholas Stamos and a back marker. Or possibly someone lapping him.
Yeah, we've there's so many cars that were involved in early incidents that the guys who did stick it out and come back out after a tow or after a fast repair, they're getting lapped already. Devin Horvath, a guy who had a unfortunate start to the race, and he's back here getting lapped by the leaders right now.
Yeah, and the leaders are duking it out as well, as Benji Peterson is right on the nose there of Bannock Opp. He has caught up very nicely over the past 2 laps, and he's now within 3/10. He's in striking distance for sure. He just needs to nail his exit out of turn 1 and possibly make the move into turn 2.
Yeah, you got to nail this because you can't really pass somebody going into it. And actually, he kind of shows what happens there. If you stay too close to the guy in front going through turn 1, you have no ability to capitalize on the exit. But he's going to send it
He's going up
deep
the
here.
inside. This is for the
Peterson
lead.
lets him have it.
And he makes it work. Can he hold it down the long straight? Well, I guess it's not very straight, but it's considered one.
Peterson's got some draft here. He's going to be able to come back at him, but Opp definitely wants the inside. He kind of forces him off the road there, and Peterson has to back out.
Yep, Peterson on the outside side by side, but it's just not the line he wants. But the switchback is a pretty decent line for him. And
yeah, coming up to turn 8.
He's not going to be able to get side by side, though, and that's what you really need to make it work through this kink here.
Well, Opp made the pass without getting side by side, shockingly. So, huge send by him. Great move. Peterson saw it coming and got out of the way, but he's got to live to fight another lap.
Which they do. So very nicely done. I will always say how much I love that camera angle and the cars roaring past us there. Very great. Now, 6 minutes and 30 seconds into this race, and I have not been able to catch my breath for a second. So very action-packed here tonight.
Yeah, I don't think that these guys have been able to catch their breath yet either.
Yeah, they will not be able to reach for a sip of water down the straight because they need to be watching their backs. It is very action-packed as Benjamin Roche, with the Faf car there, has a little bit of damage, but he's trying to track down and pass Michael Carrillo, a driver that we've seen do a lot of good driving this season.
Yeah, that's Roche seems to have a lot of damage on that car. It's in the front and the rear, so it kind of gets sailed by from Carrillo there, and it looks like I don't think the car really has the pace for him to compete very well. Unfortunately, it's just bleeding away time.
Yeah, he was most likely one of the drivers caught up in that lap 1 kerfuffle there, and that's just going to cost them all race as here goes Jack Buser and Marco Valverde in the hairpin. And wow, look at that. That's Ryan Winfelt maybe going to be able to slip through after they go side by side, but doesn't quite get the speed. Michael McLeod's lurking in the background there too, in that purple Porsche, and he wants that spot. He was up into second place on lap 1, but then was caught up in an incident in the hairpin, and he is now way down in 9th place. So he could be doing better, but hasn't gone his way today.
We know Jack Buser is one of the fastest guys here. He's had a couple unfortunate races lately. We saw he was leading Manicure last week and lost in the final chicane. Had a number of issues happen to him in Mosport, where he also seemed to be one of the faster guys. So this would be a good race for him to claw back some points, especially because he's already made up a ton of spots from the race start, and now he's up to 7th overall.
Yeah, I'd love to see a solid outing for him. He really deserves it. Strong driver, and I mean, only time will tell, but it's looking good for him tonight. Actually, I should not say that with my my commentator's curse.
Ooh, that looks deep. Yep, that's deep by Winfelt there.
Oh, and
a collision
McLeod's
with
into
him.
him.
And McLeod.
Oh,
Wow, I can't
boy.
believe that took McLeod out. It seemed like such a minor collision there, but just hit him at the wrong time.
Gotta love netcode. That's Manrique Valverde there. I wonder if there's any relation to Marco. Probably not, but they're running the same livery. As Jack
and Buser
Buser's
goes deep.
off into the
Lucky save there, at least.
depths of the pavement, but that's going to cost him time. And luckily, this is the shorter sprint race, so tires aren't going to matter as much. But spinning like that's not going to be nice on your tires.
Yeah, I was hearing from the drivers that around lap 10 or 12 is when the tires start melting away on this track. They're currently on lap 6, and they'll have 3 to go when they cross the line. So they'll at the end of the race, they'll just then be getting into where the tires start to fall away. But they'll certainly experience that during the feature coming up.
Yeah, the feature is going to be quite interesting. Now we've had
Valverde, Winfelt went deep there.
Yeah, can't manage to make anything of it though.
Winfelt looks a little uncomfortable. He's gone deep in a number of corners here.
Ali Hunt
That was
parked on the sidewalk.
Yeah, Ali Hunt
there.
back there.
All right. Well, as we were talking about, in that longer 30-minute feature race, we've got all of this action, this hard racing, which is not great on the tires, and then just this track and the nature that it takes on the tires as well. It's gonna cause us to see maybe a little bit of tire saving to be necessary to use that pace towards the
Valverde.
end.
Oh,
That
and
is Winfelt in the grass.
goes wide. Yeah, they were side by side, and then I think that he just kind of underestimated how much he needed to turn on this sort of straight. Went out into the grass there, so now lost the position to both Buser and Valverde.
Very, very unfortunate. And Marco Valverde as well, going a little bit slow there in the hairpin. Benji
I gotta
Peterson.
say, yeah, I'm surprised he's really fallen off of Panic Op after showing some pretty strong pace early, and he's got Aiden Young all over the back of him.
Yeah, Aiden Young, we've seen him to be a very, very strong driver in the past few races here, and I think that he could do pretty well, pretty much anywhere at any track. So it'll be good to see him up there in the finishing positions for this race, with just about 3.5 minutes, just under that, to go in this race.
Yeah, we're already down to just 2 laps to go as these leaders cross the line now.
So, not too long to go now, and Bannock Op seems to be in complete control of this race. So, not too bad at all for the British driver.
Bannock's still running 39s, and there's only a handful of other drivers in the field doing that right now. It's just basically him, Mark Lampere, and Jack Buser who were able to break that 40 barrier on the previous lap.
Yes, indeed. We can see the times pop up on that left side there on our timing tower, and I see a lot of 40s, a lot of 41s, but 39 is pretty good for the drivers.
Yeah, I mean, most guys haven't even put in the best lap of 39, but it certainly already seems that. Oh, was that someone just letting by? Panic Op? No, Panic Op way deep in Mercedes, and now he lost the lead to Ben Peterson.
All right.
Way deep, like unbelievably deep there.
And Jack Buser as well, losing some ground to Manrique Valverde, but he's going to get it back in that corner we were just talking about. Mercedes there. All right, so Bannock Op losing. I really need to stop commentating on these people because they just they lose it a few laps later. Bannock Op going deep and losing the lead in that very tight corner there, Mercedes. And that's going to let Benji Peterson back out in front. But Aiden Young's not too far back either. He's still in third. And I'm sure he'd be happy with the second if he can get his hands on it.
Yeah, he had a little thought. Wow, and Op super fast through turn one there. Last lap, a white flag. Maybe
Ooh,
Peterson just
big
taking a
lockout.
little bit soft.
Yeah, I don't know. So this is last lap, you said?
Yep, this is it. Oh no, but actually they actually had hit the. I'm sorry, they hit the barrier just perfectly. They actually do have 2 more laps, so this gives Op much more of a chance. Although he may get the move done here in this
Ooh.
hairpin.
A late move to the side.
Oh, that was some net code there. I don't blame either driver for that. That was net code there for sure.
100% net code, but unfortunate it is. That's going to promote Bannock Op back up into the first position and Aiden Young into that second position, which I'm sure he's happy to be in. But yeah, nothing you could really do if you're Benji Peterson there. That's just the iRacing net code. It's not one driver's fault. It's just the servers.
Yeah, and well, to only lose to down to fourth. I thought based on that initial collision he was going to lose more, but Aiden Young sizing up potentially a last corner move here.
I don't know. Let's see if he could do it.
And
he doesn't have to.
Aiden Young's going to have the win.
Aiden Young getting
Not on the brakes.
very, very lucky. And that's the checkered flag flying. Aiden Young is going to see that checkered flag. And
Ben
he's
Peterson
gonna
sent the
celebrate.
move on Sam Sproul behind. He's going to finish second.
All right. So Ben Peterson second. And Sam K. Sproul third. Mark Lampere is going to finish in fourth. In front of Marco Valverde and Jack Buser. Really, really, really tight. Look at this. Michael McLeod and Bannock Op. Oh, boy. Looks like Michael McLeod just edged it out at the very, very last second there. So, not
And McLeod
too
able
bad.
to take that spot by 600ths, and then Ben Peterson up there after a pretty surprising recovery. Last lap, he took that second place spot from Sproul by 700ths.
So let's take a quick look at what happened on the start here. They're all lined up. We can hear the engines roaring, and that is that is unfortunate.
That was an effect of the start of him starting diagonally. I feel for him because he's having to turn and do a really difficult start with the car.
Let's take a look what happened to Nicholas Stamos.
Wow.
He got a little sideways, and that triggered quite a problem there. And then further up the field, sideways there. Oh boy, a little chaos there. And that's the collision you're hearing, the door banging of Michael McLeod's incident.
Yeah, Dan Morera was the guy that you saw at the start of that race get launched up into the air. Definitely a lot of damage to his car. Evidenced by, of course, him having to tow and finishing near the back, but this gives him an opportunity to try to claw back some more positions in this feature. I mean, that's the nice thing about the 2-race format is when something like that happens in the first heat, you at least have an opportunity to fix it a little bit.
Yes, you do, and the feature is where the bigger points pay out. So if you can keep it clean for the 30 minutes, you'll end up taking home a few more points than if you kept it clean for just 15.
Yeah, a little surprised to see Patrick Kingston. Again, he was involved in one of those mini incidents early on, but he decided to park it after that. And I mean, that's going to hurt his. I mean, we do have drop weeks, of course, but as the points leader, it doesn't feel good to do that. He's actually is leading by quite a lot right now. He's got a 26-point gap to Devin Horvath behind, who then has a 7-point gap to Ariel Julian, and then you get a really tight pack there. And then on the topic of standings for the AM class, we again still have a really close field, exactly what we had last week, with Carl Ribbing at 109 and Mark Santana at 108. So only a point separating those two. But Aaron Hall, Dan Marrera, Troy Finlon, all those guys are lurking back there in third, fourth, fifth, just 10 or so points back.
Yeah, so I mean, it's still tight everywhere across this championship, and I think this next race it'll start actually right about now as Aiden Young's doing some donuts in the warm up. The gridding procedure.
I'm interested to see how the tires do. Not after those donuts there, certainly, but after 20 minutes or so of racing.
It's certainly going to be quite interesting. So we'll see our cars start to grid, and of course people are going to end up starting sideways once again. Still 30 cars. I believe all 30 of them are still in the session.
Hingston is not. And Allie Hunt is not.
Okay, so Francois Schenk's going to pick up an easy position off the start as Allie Hunt's not going to take the grid. All right. Exciting things coming in the next 30 minutes. And I think it'll be quite fun.
Ryan Winfeld inheriting that reverse grid pole there. Let's see how his start is.
We have the lights on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And that's 5 lights going
Great
out.
Start.
And off they go. Ryan Winfeld with a really great start. Further back, it looks like no drama this time as they all make it to turn 1.
Spin by Mark Lampere on the curb. Luckily avoids collision, but Mark Lampere out of the top spots now.
Yeah, but it looks like...
Steven Eckenrode, Philippe Straffarelli, Francois Schenk, and Marrera.
Spoke a little too soon earlier there. Most people made it through turn 1 pretty clean, and they're headed down now to the hairpin, in which Ryan Winfeld, who was leading, no longer is leading. He is nowhere to be found on that timing screen in the top spots.
He's down to 12th right now.
He must have been caught up in some sort of incident there, but and that's Bannock Op into the wall behind.
That was big damage.
Oh, not good for Bannock Op. He almost won last race. That's a Valverde into Benji Peterson in Mercedes. Nothing you can do about that now. He'll have to deal with that damage. Shannon Mothral up into 4th. Nicely done by him. Further back, Aiden Young is side by side. They're going to make contact. Michael McLeod doing good.
And then Young gets spun by McLeod. Oh, no.
And they're off into the dirt there. Wow.
That was a bit of a comedy of errors. Aiden Young gets squeezed a little bit.
That's Valverde sideways too. Almost picking off Fenelon and Julian.
Both Valverdes, actually. But that was Marco there, who was leading the race and has now dropped back to 20th.
Oh, boy. So that makes Jack Buser our leader after lap 1 with a gain of 2 spots. Samuel K. Sproul gains 4 to become 2nd, and Chinema Thrall up 6 to become 3rd place.
Yeah, he's not just up 6, he's up 6 from 9th, meaning that he didn't, he wasn't in that top 8 to get reversed. He was the odd man out, and so that's a great start for him, especially in the AM class.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Very well done by him. as Stefan Chalifot 3 wide they go, and he's gonna come out on top of that. Can he hold it into the hairpin? That's
Chalafu's got some damage, pretty heavy damage to the front of the car, and yep, issues under braking.
Moreira is gonna slink by, but he's still being challenged by Carl Ribbing in that 44 car there, that red Porsche, and they are.
Moreira's slow on the exit there.
Yeah, they're all sorts of all over the track here. They got about 5 people in this little area of track. So
yeah, we got a good number of guys with some pretty bad damage on the car. Chalafu, one there that we just brought up. It doesn't look good on the front of the car there, and I wonder if that affected his braking performance into the hairpin.
Oh,
and that was messy.
Just barely, but he is into the wall. Oh boy, side by
Points
side.
leader
Michael
for Am.
Carrillo. They're gonna keep it clean on their way through, and coming into turn 1, the amateur driver Chen Mothral. Benji Peterson is attacking him.
So we do have Francois Schenk and Bannock both retiring the car, unfortunately.
Very, very unfortunate, as Marco Valverde is trying to get past Benjamin Roche.
Yeah, had a short little stint there, running at the front, was doing well, and then unfortunately just an incident for him, but Michael Carrillo having a tough time through there in Parabolica.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the preferred line, and he's actually falling back a little bit from Horvath.
Yeah, and now Manrique Valverde is...
Oh, deep on the brakes by Carrillo.
That's Horvath there with a new livery, it seems. Y5 SimSport. All right.
Wow, Carrillo was really great on the brakes there, but just was too far back. It ended up affecting his corner exit. But coming into Mercedes here, he may want to send it. He's taking a different line at least.
Can't get it done, though. He's going to have to wait just a little bit. Not too long. There are more opportunities on this track. I love this camera.
A surprising result, just given that the mishap that we saw early on.
Oh, there goes Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yep.
Into one of the final corners. Like I said, you can get it done in the last sector if you're sneaky enough, and he did just that. Very nicely done.
Yeah, Mothra probably not trying to fight too much, given that he's in a different class. But Ryan Winfeld there has made his way up to 5th. Obviously started the race, had a great start off the line. But then got involved in an incident early, some damage to the right rear, but still doing really well to be up there in the top 5.
Yeah, he is. He's doing very good. And just take another look at the gains of the race. We have Aaron Hall, who is up 11 spots. Devin Horvath is up 13. Dan Moreira is up 10. We have some very good races going for a lot of people here.
Definitely one of the biggest heartbreaks was Mark Lampere there. Just lost it over the curbs at the very start of the race, and that's the worst time to lose the car because you end up behind everybody. And so inevitably, one person who was also going off track hit him, and he got some pretty bad damage to that right rear. So unfortunate to see. He had probably a pretty strong race ahead of him.
Yeah, he probably did, but I guess we won't know. As here is Ryan Whitfeld with Mr. Adam Morrow. Adam's going to stay ahead into the fast right-hander there, but we'll see if Ryan Whitfeld has an answer for him in the remaining part of this lap. It's not looking like it right now.
Up at the front, Jack Buser looking really strong. Put in the fastest lap of the field last lap. Just improved that lap by another 10th, crossing the line there. So he's got a 3.5 second gap to Sproul behind, and Sproul's been very fast as well. You can tell he's not just by his position, but by the times. He's the second fastest guy on the track, but Buser has everybody beat right now.
Yeah, Buser doing very well out in the front of the pack, and I'm not going to comment on it because I will curse him. So we'll just move back as Devin Horvath goes around a spinning Aaron Hall as he tries to pass Young Choi.
Yeah, don't be surprised if we see Horvath make up more positions because he's also one of the fastest guys on track. A 140 flat last lap, nearly getting into the 139s. He has a lot of potential to make up more spots than the 15 right now that he's already made.
As he goes around the Valverde car there of Manrique Valverde is gonna look to get past Young Choi as well. He's got that inside line, but what really matters is making it work in Mercedes, which he is going to do. Young Choi is gonna brake early and let him go through.
Yeah, just ceding the position there again. A guy that's not in his class. You're just gonna lose time if you try to battle with people that you're not racing against anyways.
Now, they do get different points, so track position does matter, even though they aren't in the same class.
True.
But I guess you still earn more points than your rivals if you let
Well,
them.
and with
A little contact.
lucky to save it there. But yeah, with the way that the point system works, they're all so close with each position just being a difference of 1 point. That losing one position is not the end of the world for you, especially if it means that you're going to be faster afterwards.
It does help to be less stressed by letting that person by. Yes.
Wow, Adam Morrow trying to chase down Mothra for the lead in AM, and he just put in the fastest lap of everybody in the previous lap. Was very 5 thousandths faster than Jack Buser, who again is very comfortably leading up at front. So Morrow may be one that is going to be able to catch up to Mothra in a few laps.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on him. He's about 2.3 seconds back now, but that is subject to change.
Yeah, he was a second faster in the previous lap, so that's pretty good pace.
Yeah, Michael McLeod down at 16th is just trying to work his way back up after he fell 10 or 6 spots from his original position of 10th, and he's got some company back there to keep him entertained, like that of Mr. Aaron Hall and Dan Morera ahead.
Yeah, important for Dan Morera here because he was, to no fault of his own, involved in. He's going to keep the inside ear. Involved in that lap or Heat 1 incident that took him out of the race.
Yeah,
He's going to have to cede both those positions there. But
McLeod.
he is one of the guys that's up at the front of the field for the AM standings. The 3 guys ahead of him, Aaron Hall, who is there in 14th overall, so just ahead of him. Mark Santana, who is obviously not in those top spots, and then Carl Ribbing. So this is a good opportunity for Morera to make back some points after the early heat.
It is, and Shalafu and that would be Mr. Morera, I believe.
Yeah, that is Dan Morera there.
Going at it into turn 2. But the 119 car is going to come out on top.
Yeah, we got Devin Horvath now side by side going into the kink with Ariel Julian there.
Ariel has got that, or Devin's got that line, and now that's Valverde.
Wow,
overtaking.
Opportunistic move there.
Yeah, very nicely done, Manrique Valverde on Ariel Julian.
Yeah, Horvath's still one of the fastest guys on track, so he continues to be making up spots. Now up 16 and doesn't have that much of a gap to the next 5 guys in front. It's all still pretty close with the exception of the top 3 kind of separated by 3 seconds.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. He's got a charge going as Michael Carrillo's trying to stick his nose on the inside of Young Choi. Can't do it into the corner there, but maybe he can nail his exit out of turn 1 coming up and get him into turn 2. Turn 1 is not the spot to overtake, unfortunately, but he did get a nice run out of the final corner. Michael McLeod is side by side with Aaron Hall in the final corner, but has to back out of it.
And then he's got Shalafu all over the back of him. That's a pretty big group there. Hall has to be worried because everyone else is going to have a tow from him or another guy coming down this
Ooh,
parabolic
that's a
straight here.
bad exit for Hall. Gets a little squirrely. That's going to let Michael McLeod catch up and use the slipstream, although it looks like McLeod had to check up a little bit
Yeah, he did.
to not hit him coming out of the corner. He's side by side now, though, and Michael has the inside line. That's where you want to be. Can Shalafu kind of sneak by as well? He's got a wheel up there, but
Trying.
he doesn't get the exit he needs. He's going to lose possibly just that spot. All right. So,
Yeah,
well done.
Hall just needed to be a little more aggressive there on the defense. He not only let McLeod have the inside line, but the inside line being like the middle of the track, he needed to at least force him inside and kind of occupy the center. But again, not in the same class. But yeah, those points do matter as a guy who's currently third in the AM standings.
Yeah, every point does matter. Although sometimes, as you mentioned, it's not worth fighting for one, just the singular one. But yeah, we have just about hit the halfway point. In about 1 minute, we will be there, and the action has not slowed down one bit.
Ooh, Shalafu really wide there in the last corner there. Almost saw an incident happen there. But yeah, so crossing the line there, the drivers have 10 laps to go. That's the estimation there. So it's a long way to go still, especially the fact that they are already, on lap 9. So in heat 1, they did 9 laps, and some of the guys seem to have already been experiencing some problems with tire wear, and it's going to keep getting worse. Missed braking points into the hairpin with lockups is going to keep making it worse. There's some trepidation for the rest of this race, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tricky one. I mean, double the distance of last race is no easy thing to do, and they need to keep that focus, keep locked in, and hopefully not.
I can tell you right. Oh, wow, way wide. That was Ariel Julian, I think. It was the other car that Troy Fenelon. They look the exact same. Fenelon going super wide, sliding into the sand there.
Yeah, he it took him 9 seconds to get back on track there.
But the thing I was going to say is, watching onboard here of Jack Buser, I can tell you for sure he is doing some tire management. And despite that, he's still pulling out a gap on Sam Sproul behind. It's now increased to over 4 seconds. And meanwhile, Sproul has increased to nearly 4.5 seconds to Ben Peterson behind. But I can tell through some of these corners that Buser is babying the car a little bit, just with the knowledge that we're only halfway through.
So Shalafu in the pits after a jump to the pits. I think he had some sort of incident.
Yeah, he's got some bad damage to that. Let me see where that came. That came in the final corner, just a little bit too much on the steering, and then hit that inside wall pretty heavy. That was especially the fact that he had just passed pit entrance. He definitely needed to take that tow.
Let's take a look here.
The curbs a little bit.
Ooh.
We saw that happen a number of times yesterday in the IMSA race that we covered, and it's one that you probably don't mess up that often in practice, but then come race time, it actually seems to bite a lot of people.
Yeah. Young Choi getting by Michael Carrillo as he goes wide in the Mercedes turn. But speaking more to the it doesn't happen a lot in practice, I find that to be my biggest enemy. I will practice for hours and never have a problem. The second I get in the race, I will find all new ways to spin out and crash and burn. It's a talent of mine.
Yeah, it's the classic.
There goes Carl ribbing on Benjamin Roche, but can't hold that outside line and make it work through the carousel.
Yeah, Carl ribbing a little bit far back as far as for being the leader of the AM standings right now. he's benefited by the fact that Mark Santana doesn't have a ton of points and he's just a couple spots ahead, but there's actually only a 1 point gap between the two. So it's going to continue to be close in the standings after this race.
Yeah. Oh, hold on,
Oh,
though.
wow.
Haha.
How did that happen?
Benjamin Roche losing it, keeping it relatively straight, not too bad.
Wow,
But
what a
time
save.
loss.
What happened there for sure is that he worried too much about not getting an off track and not worried enough about just keeping the car alive, because that's one of those where you realize you're too hot, you realize you turn too late or something like that, and you want to try to stay on track. You don't want to get that 1x, but you tried too hard to avoid that, ended up nearly losing the car. What a save, though. He came just like a foot away from the wall.
Yeah, it can unsettle the car when you turn a little bit too hard like that, but luckily he could keep it in one piece and got back on track in a few seconds.
Yeah, again, we talked about Morrow being able to catch up to Mothral after a few laps, and there he is. He's on the back of him now. Morrow's still looking like one of the faster guys on track. It doesn't matter that he's classified as an AM. He was really fast in practice, one of the fastest in qualifying. He was just outside of that 35%, actually. He's going to make a send here, I'm surely.
There he goes. He pulls out. He's got the inside line. He blinks. We can use our imagination. And he's back. He does not get ahead. He's going to have to follow Mothral down the straight.
He's having some pretty heavy blinking issues there. It's happening on my end as well, so hopefully he doesn't get disconnected from this race or anything. But, well, I don't know where he's going on the outside.
We can imagine he's on the outside. And around they go. That is a back marker in the purple car there. And he's got the inside line into the kink now. But, like I said earlier,
space here.
It's into Mercedes where it really matters. And he's
later on the brakes
much
by
better
Morrow.
on the brakes. Morrow is.
Oh, and he has to back out of that one there.
Just can't get the turn and done. So we'll take our eyes back to Michael McLeod on Troy Fenelon. Same corner we just watched, except Michael McLeod is way farther ahead into the braking zone. Nicely done.
I'm trying to figure out what happened with Marler. I can't tell if it was some minor net code or if he just kind of got spooked by Mothral on the inside. They weren't really that close to each other. They definitely could have gotten a lot closer, but I mean, maybe Morrow just trying to survive here.
I'm not sure, as Aaron Hall is getting passed there by Dan Morera.
Morera very fast on his previous lap, 6/10 faster than Hall, and then now he's able to get around on this lap. So certainly trending up from a guy who had to start from the very, very back of this race.
These are what the last lap times look for our grid here. Of course, Jack Puser in the 139s. Nobody else able to match that. That's by a long shot too. So
well, yeah, on the previous lap, actually, Michael McLeod did get into those 39s. The lap that he just finished there was a 140.4, but he just last lap was able to do it. So pretty impressive. And I mean, he's close there to Marco Valverde right now.
So not too bad, but
and
unfortunately,
into the hairpin. It's on the outside though.
Can't hold it on the outside.
Not the best positioning, yeah.
His 139s are not going to win him a race back in 13th, so maybe he would have hoped for a better race story, but it just wasn't in his favor tonight. So
yeah, we saw him involved in an incident on lap either 1 or 2 there with Aiden Young and one other, I think one of the Valverdes, I think. But yeah, right here in this corner. So he's definitely clawing back a lot of those spots. He can't be too upset with 13th overall after that early incident.
No, that's not too bad at all. And I mean, he's fast. He's got the pace. It's just a matter of using it to the extent that he can. And right now, it seems like using it to his extent would be getting ahead of Marco Valverde and staying there.
Interesting little note here. I'm wondering if oh wow, that was two wheels there by Creel there. I'm wondering if Buser has tire saved enough to his liking, because
That's
previous
fair,
lap was
though.
his
They have to
fastest
back
lap
out.
that he's done. 139.5 to Sproul's 139.9 behind. So that was a much quicker lap than Buser's been doing. He's now pulled out a 5.2 second gap, and it was 4.4 at the line. So he might be unleashing it now for these last
Uh-oh.
estimated right now 4 laps.
Yes, so Michael McLeod coming into here just barely misses it, but there's some smoke and tires and
It's Troy Fenelon there.
big lockups by Troy Fenelon going into the Mercedes corner here with Valverde on the outside. Valverde's way got speed, and look at that. Michael McLeod trying to get by him as well.
Fenelon needs to just cool the tires off a little bit. Had to let Valverde go by, otherwise it was just gonna get spun. You can see really slow through that corner there. Tires still probably feeling some problems.
There goes McLeod on the inside. Nicely done. Simple move. Devin Horvath,
Wow.
139.4.
Up 18 spots and the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, and
Wish he had started at the front,
yeah, we're 24 minutes into this race. So the tires definitely are not in their prime right now. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's not a cold track, 30 degrees Celsius right now. So, I mean that's a good look for him, and he's been fast literally this entire race. It's often been Jack Buser at the front. He's been one of the next few guys, and has been slowly working his way up through the ranks, and he's now 2 seconds off of Morrow in front.
Yeah, so hopefully he can make something happen there.
Morrow himself all over the back of Mothra. We've seen these two next to each other, coming back again into the fight after a few laps ago, and they both seem to have a lot of pace. I'm interested to see who's going to be able to come out on top here. Both guys who have made up spots from where they started. Mothra up 5 and Morrow up 8, despite not being in those reversed top 8.
Yeah, they're both having a great race. Obviously, Horvath up 18 is pretty impressive, but I mean, even 5 and 8, 4, 4, 2, not too bad. Any positions gained is a good day.
Morrow there, yep, into the 39s, but Horvath behind a 39.3. That must not have been a legal lap, because that didn't. Oh no, it is. Yeah, it doesn't count. It doesn't say it's his fastest lap. He must have had an off track. Morrow nearly losing it there. That's gonna put Horvath, but now it's a 1 second between the two.
Yeah, they are spreading out a little bit more, but there's still 6 minutes to go in this race, so don't count them out yet. Or 4 minutes to go in this race, so don't count them out yet.
Yeah, they're on their third to last lap, so still a lot of opportunities. Like I said, this track so many places to pass. We've already seen it all over the field, and we've still got some more opportunities to go.
Oh, that is Ariel Julian going for a little
Ooh,
trip
no
there.
control there.
Yeah, I mean, luckily
Troy
he
going
did not,
wide.
he didn't hit anybody, so can't really complain too much. I mean, you can, but it was not a drastic mistake.
Oh, and then a little wide by Winfelt there. And a little bit wide now. He's under attack. He's got that damage to the car. Might be slowing him down a little bit.
There goes
but now Julian actually
Fenelon.
recovering here.
Oh, that is Julian, yes. Julian going for the move into the fast right hand.
Nice
He's got that
pass.
inside line. And then maybe Valverde can hang around and capitalize. No, he can't. Wow, they're really close into the corner.
Wait for Julian to recover after that mistake in the hairpin.
Yeah, nicely done. Back up to the front of that pack as they begin their next lap.
And some of these guys really cut that last corner. They really mount that curb. We saw it caused some issues to a couple drivers earlier. Enrique Valverde there actually bump drafting Ryan Winfelt down the first part of that straight.
Yeah, they want all the speed they can get. They need to catch back up to Ariel Julian, because their time is quickly fading. Just a side note, Devin Horvath did set another fastest lap, a 1:39.3.
Yeah, as fast as the one that he'd done previous lap, although that one didn't count. This one does count. And he has got Morrow right in front of him. Morrow falling back a little bit from Mothral after just a little bit of a squirreliness that we saw last lap. So those three have all closed up to like half-second gaps. And then even closer is this group that we see on screen now.
Yeah, they are all within about a tenth, 3/10 of each other. Super close. There goes Carrillo locking up, almost hitting. Oh wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Lucky there.
So Carrillo
Nice car control.
gonna lose it there. Young Choi's gonna gain a position, and Valverde, of course, gonna stay ahead up there, as Winfelt's kind of running away with it now.
And speaking of running away with it, Buser now over 6 seconds. And then again, Sproul doing a fantastic job as well, over 5.3 seconds away from Ben Peterson, who we saw really strong, of course, in the first race. So those three have set themselves apart, but Buser with one of the largest gaps actually in the entire field right now. So it's very impressive,
Into
first
the
to second.
pit lane.
A pit stop there.
Interesting. Maybe a drive-through?
Well, if that was Enrique Valverde, he had a black flag.
So probably
Yes, it was.
drive-through for the Valverde car there. The white flag is flying, so Jack Buser, who is on his way down the back straight, will see that white checkered flag flying next time he crosses the line.
Troy pinching him there, but still can't keep the position. Oh, a spin by Morrow, and Horvath collides with him in the hairpin. Minor collision, but that means Horvath makes his way through on the final lap. Morrow just with a little bit of a flat spin there on the brakes.
Yeah, very unfortunate for that driver there, but that's racing, man.
Yeah, Morrow and Horvath, both two of the strongest guys we've seen in the midfield so far in this race, for sure.
Yes, indeed. Very, very strong. And, I mean, nobody is as strong, though, as this man, Jack Buser, who's going to cross the line and take the win for the pro class. Well done to Jack Buser. Really dominated this race from start to finish.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything, probably any battles that are shaping up to happen at the end of this heat here. Great to see Jack Buser on the win. We've known that he's one of the fastest. He's been one of the fastest, and then yet just through some incidents, he's 13th overall in the pro points.
Yeah, not to
But rise a number of positions.
Yes. All right. So the final cars are coming around the corners now.
Saw Carl Ribbing there go a little squirrely. Those tires, I mean, we saw, Adam Morrow, for example, they did not last very well for 30 minutes for some people.
Yeah, it's tricky, but most people survived. We lost 7 cars here.
Yeah, much cleaner than the first heat.
Yes, much cleaner, and that's gonna be it for Hockenheim in terms of racing. So, our results here. We have Samuel K. Sproul on top, and then Benji Peterson following him. Shannon Mothral takes P3 overall, so well done to him. Devin Horvath with some blazing pace takes 4th, and then Adam Morrow, Ariel Julian, Ryan Winfelt, Michael Carrillo, Young Choi, Marco Valverde, Michael McLeod, Troy Fenelon, Dan Marrera, Enrique Valverde, Aaron Hall, Mark Santana, Carl Ribbing, and Benjamin Roche.
And then following those guys were Gary Watson, Jack Buser. That is not Jack Buser won. I don't know why. I don't know why he's there. And then Nicholas Stamos, Steven Eckenrode, Philippe Straffarelli, Stefan Chalafu, Mark Lampere, Aiden Young, Bannock Opp, and Francois Schink.
All right, and then Ali Hunt and Patrick Hingston. So, let's see. I said Sproul won, but Jack Buser did win. Interesting bug there. Anyways, quite the race here tonight, if I do say so myself. Very much enjoyed. What do you think, Zach?
It was great, and we're going to a really good track next week with Silverstone, another large, F1 style track that I think will invite a lot of good racing with lots of passing opportunities.
Yeah, I would hope it's an interesting race, and I think it will be. Although my official results tab does say, if we just take a look here.
It's having that for me too.
So maybe, as somebody said in the Twitch chat, he had a penalty. Only time will tell.
Maybe you didn't have a lot of incident points, but yeah, I guess we'll have to figure that out between now and the next race.
Yes, and one final thought on last race, the incident between Aiden Young and Patrick Hingston for that win in the final corner there. Patrick Hingston did win a protest on that. All right, so that's gonna do it here for us tonight at the Hockenheim racetrack for the Porsche Cup Challenge. So tune in next week around the same time, and we'll go racing once again. Good night, everybody.